Hello, hello. Just let me know if you can hear me. Shouldn't be anything wrong with my microphone. Let's see. Okay. So the count is 0. I know there are more people here, so I'm just waiting for it to catch up. Don't really know how long it takes. Hi, Luke. And Necro in isolation. Ooh. Now the count is going up. Awesome. Hi, Mita. Necro can hear me. Thank you very much. Okay, so the 2. Hi, Patricia. Nice to see you could make it. Oh, chat's jumping. Yeah, being a hermit definitely helps these days. I'm pretty good at that anyway, although I have to go to work. Hi, Michelle. Or is that how you pronounce it? Michelle Toussaint, maybe? I don't know. Hi, Thomas. How's the training going? Are you getting stronger? Or have you given up? So Necro has been home 4 days with mild corona symptoms. Yeah, I think that most, from what I gather anyway, I'm trying to stay away. I don't watch news, I don't read the news, but I have ears and I can't avoid hearing what people are talking about. And sometimes people are randomly talking about it on the internet, on YouTube, etc. But I do think that most people that do get the coronavirus get quite mild symptoms. So it's not like under the flu. Oh, Thomas, temporarily suspended. Losing my voice already. Joint pain. That's no good. Just do some light mobility training, maybe. That sort of thing can help. Okay, only voluntary social distancing in my town. That's good to hear. I can't remember where I saw that. Was someone who said that where she lived that they had to self-quarantine for 4 weeks? And that is a very, very long time, but I don't know where in the US that was. Oh, infrasauna. Okay, that's pretty cool. Do you have one at home, or do you like go somewhere for that? Me too. I'm talking to you. Okay, I'll see if you want to reply, just because I'm curious before I actually get started. So, for the US people, this time slot is probably the same time as I always do it. I was gonna. It's 1 hour earlier for me, which is fine for me personally. But that person that just popped something into the comments here, saying something backwards like boys and girls, has decided that his live stream has to follow the EST time slot. So to avoid us doing an overlapping live stream, I have moved my stream to this time slot as well. So there you go. Me too. Yeah, in my bachelor pad, lol. Awesome. Well, that's really good. It's a good tool to have. Necro, portable steam sauna. Wow. Didn't even know they existed. Fapnado, 3-day fasted here. Awesome. That's cool. I was hoping monk mode would be here. The fasting monk mode. 1400 squids. Yeah, that's probably what you will have to pay for a nice. And that isn't even that expensive, I don't think, for an infrared sauna. Yay! We have all seen it here. Hello, girls and boys. Haha. That's the right way around. So he's very adjustable today. It's interesting. Okay, so let's start talking about what I was going to talk about, because I have to get to that at some point anyway, or we can just sit here and chat all day. So, as the title says, how we can regenerate our immune system in 3 days. So, obviously, everyone is talking about the bloody coronavirus, and you can see like ads for all sorts of supplements everywhere and blah blah blah. But in the end of the day, we have immune systems. They should be working perfectly. The reason that they don't do that is because we don't allow them to work perfectly. So I'm not going to be talking about any supplements or anything that is costing you money, etc. I'm just going to talk about something that you can do that will pretty much reset your immune system in 3 days to a high degree, not 100%, but I don't think anything actually will. God. So, God, I can't speak. Excuse me. So I'm hoping that I won't have to tell you that eating processed anything, sugar, whatever it is, polyunsaturated fats, etc., that we have to cut that out. I hope you're already aware of that, because I'm not going to talk about that specifically, but it is those processed foods are going to work against you massively and make you inflamed, put your immune system on high alert, and make it function less than ideal, if you like. So that's not what I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about any supplements. As I said, no mega dosing on vitamin C or vitamin D, whatever it could be, that have been shown in studies to help with the flu and those kind of things. And some of you might already have an idea what I'm going to talk about. And that's why I was wondering if Monk Mode was here, and I still haven't seen him. I'll just have a quick scroll through the chat here. No Monk Mode, I don't think. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is, I hope you already know, but stop talking about carnivore. No, Thomas, I'm not going to talk about sugar. No. What? Carnivore just posted saying there is martial law in Ecuador. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So I'm just going to go back and actually talk about what I was going to talk about. And that's actually fasting. So it's about what you're not eating and how long you're not eating for and what type of fasting we should be doing. Yes, exactly, Luke. Patricia, awesome. Exercise, sleep, yes, both are important, but I don't think any of those can reset your immune system in 3 days. What it can do is keep your immune system on, functioning, but it's not going to reset it. So if you are already at a good level and you sleep and you exercise and you're doing everything else right, you are going to be pretty good to go. But as we age, our immune systems will get more and more cells that are somewhat dysfunctional. They might not, the older you get, the more likely you are to get sick from anything, to get autoimmune diseases. And all of that has to do with your immune cells and the quality of the immune cells that you have that are active. So if you can reset parts of your immune system regularly with fasting, for example, you can prolong your quality of life, if you like. So you can live longer and actually be healthy for much longer. That's my belief anyway. There's nothing that tells me that that wouldn't be true. Okay, sorry, I'm reading the comments. So first of all, I want to say that you don't necessarily have to be fasting to get these effects, because there are things that God, I have to stop reading the comments about eating toilet rolls because I can't focus on what I'm talking about. So there are ways of doing this without actually doing a proper water fast, but I do think that water fasting is much, much better. So let's start having a quick look at something that is called fasting mimicking diet. Some of you might have heard about it. What it is basically a very low calorie diet, which consists of mainly fat with a little bit of carbs and a little bit of protein, but not too much of any of those, because both of those are going to have a negative effect for what we want to achieve with it. So you do that for 5 days in a row every month. Okay. So when you are calorie restricting for 5 days in a row, your metabolism is still going to be high and it's still going to be acting the way it has been acting on the amount of calories that you have been consuming up until this point. It takes a while for your metabolism to go down when you stop eating. So it's not instant. And the same thing when if you are on a low calorie diet for a very long time, which I never recommend, it will take a while for your body to adjust and go up and speed up the metabolism again after you stop doing that. So it's not instant. There's always a delay. So 5 days seems to be quite good and doable without making too much damage to your body. So what is happening is that your body will obviously start looking for other alternative ways of getting enough energy to, if you say all of a sudden you're eating 1,000 calories per day, but you're actually burning 2,000, that's what your body needs. That's how it's functioning. That's how much energy it needs to do all the activities that you're doing, produce the heat that you're producing, digesting your food, produce new tissue, etc. And it's going to keep doing that. But when you only put 1,000 in, it's going to need another 1,000 from somewhere else, and it's going to start breaking down your liver glycogen. Since insulin is going to be low if you eat that little, and especially you're not eating a lot of carbs, you're mainly eating fat and very little protein as well. Insulin is going to be low. You're going to be able to access your fat stores and actually start burning fat as well. And the only thing that you don't have is proteins. So your body's going to start looking around and think, where on earth am I going to get the proteins from? And it's going to start breaking down cells that it doesn't need. So old immune cells that are slightly damaged, maybe, or they are dysfunctional, maybe you have too many of them, then they're not getting used. Those kind of cells are going to be broken down. There may be a little amount of healthy white blood cells, but mainly it will be the old or damaged cells that you actually don't have much use of anyway. And this is why it can pretty much put a lid on any autoimmune disease, because you're getting rid of those immune cells that are attacking your own tissue. So when you're fasting, you get rid of those malfunctioning cells, and that will just make you feel a lot better. So that's how that's working. And that is called autophagy, or autophagy if you're American. So this is the protein source that you're going to get. You don't need a huge amount of protein on a daily basis, but you do need some proteins. You need the proteins to repair any tissue that your body thinks is important. You need it for enzymes, because enzymes are proteins, and you need enzymes for all sorts of functions in your body. So there's always going to be an amount of protein that you need on a daily basis, and it needs to come from somewhere. And your body is going to go through all of these useless cells before it actually starts breaking down your muscle tissue, because muscle tissue is actually very valuable. And if we're breaking down the muscle tissue, we're not going to be able to go out and catch food. So it takes a while before your body starts doing that. So I think what we need to take into consideration is that you're still eating 800 to 1100 calories. So if you were to fast rather than actually doing a fasting mimicking diet, you're probably going to speed up this process. You're probably going to get a lot more autophagy, etc. But the big thing here because if you were listening, I was just saying that we need the proteins, and that is what is triggering the autophagy. If you are eating carbohydrates and fat only and no proteins, you might get quite close to the same amount of autophagy, but you're not going to get the same effect from lowering your insulin, etc. So we have to always kind of consider what is it that we want to achieve with this fast. So if it's just for the autophagy and the resetting of the immune system, you might be quite safe if you're going very, very low on protein only, but still keep your calories down for those 5 days. So I just want to add that. I don't think that is ideal. I don't think that's the healthiest thing to do, but everyone has the right to choose for themselves what they want to do. So when you do a 72-hour water fast, you will pretty much break down, let's say, I'm not 100% sure that these figures are correct, but roughly maybe 40% of your white blood cell count, okay? And that is a large proportion of your immune system, which means that when you are fasting, your immune system is actually suppressed, okay? So what that means is that when you're fasting, you are more likely to get sick when you're fasting, okay? So you should not be fasting now and think, oh my God, I need to do this. I need to fast. Then go out and see people who have the flu or corona or whatever, because you're probably more susceptible to catching the infection if you're doing that. However, after you're fasting, so the magic is actually in the refeed. That's when you are going to build up the new immune system. So you need to keep this in mind, that currently being fasted, you are going to be immunosuppressed to some degree. And it's after that your immune system is just going to be mint. Okay. So it's also kind of interesting to know, or maybe good to know, because some of you like doing blood tests and checking your blood values of all sorts of things. And if you do that, if you are currently fasted for more than a couple of days and you go in and you do a full blood count, you are going to get a much lower white blood cell count than you would have gotten 2 days ago. And that is because you have broken those down. So maybe that's not the best time to go and do a blood test if you actually want to know what your real white blood cell count is, because that is only going to be representative of what your blood count is when you are fasted right now. Okay. So as I said, if you go out and you know that you're going to be out, you're going to meet people, you're going to put yourself in a situation where you might meet someone who has the coronavirus or whatever disease that you don't want to catch, and you think that is a high likelihood that that was going to happen, don't do that just when you're fasting. Do your fast when you can pretty much see as little people as possible, and then after a day or so, you can go out and meet people. Having said that, if you're currently in the quarantine, like I know that many of you actually are, you won't meet anyone. And you can do a 3-day fast, you can do 6-day, you can do 7-day, or you can even do 2 weeks if you want. I don't think 2 weeks is necessarily going to be better for the average person than 1 week or 5 days, but maybe they will, maybe slightly. And this is also very dependent on who you are, what your immune system is like already. If you have a really well-functioning immune system, you're not going to get as much benefit from it as someone who's immunocompromised in some way. So someone who has any type of autoimmune function, or a chronic disease of some kind that it has, most chronic diseases has an inflammatory component to it. Those people are probably going to benefit a lot more, much more, because their immune systems are clearly not functioning optimally. So they're going to notice a much bigger difference. And that also goes for older people. So for those who are old, as I said in the beginning, when we age, we're not necessarily always generating new immune cells. So they're floating around for years in your system, and eventually you're going to get damaged, or they might, start malfunctioning in some way. And that's why older people are usually more susceptible to disease, because their immune systems have not been maintained. We're not eating the way we are designed to eat, that we have always done. We are eating 24/7. Many people are eating 6 times per day or 10 times per day, or they just graze all day long, and we can't even, maybe we can say that eating once a day, but their feeding window is 14 hours. So it's, that's not the way to reset your immune system. If you always have food coming in, you have absolutely no reason to break down those old malfunctioning immune cells. And we need to give our bodies some sort of break to actually do this. Because we can't just keep feeding. Well, we can't, but we're going to get sick. So here's what happens. When you start fasting, your body will still need some protein, and it will break everything down that is deemed unnecessary. And this is particularly important in older people. And you don't have to worry about breaking down your muscles. And it doesn't take longer than 3 days. That's the beauty of it. So, I wouldn't worry about my muscles or anything. I'm probably going to make a video on that very soon. I just need to get my shit together and actually do it. And the magic is when you're refeeding. So your hormones, when you're fasting, they're changing a lot. Obviously, the insulin's going up, your growth hormone is insulin's going down, your growth hormone is going up, all sorts of things are going on, and you always have some amount of stem cells in your blood, and they are going to be activated. So as soon as you refeed, when you give yourself food, when you start eating again, your stem cells are just waiting for this opportunity to turn into something, but they need the building materials. And when you are eating again, they're going to get it. And the first thing they're going to do is probably, to a large degree, is that they are going to create new immune cells, because this is a very, very important function for your body. If your immune system isn't working and you are being bitten by a rabid hyena or whatever, if you don't have a functioning immune system, you're going to die. So this is one of the highest priorities of your body. Your immune system needs to be fully functional. So that's going to happen very quickly. I'm not sure exactly how quick, but I think that within a day after starting eating again, your immune system is probably better than it was before you started fasting. So if you now, after a day, come into contact with someone who has COVID-19, you're probably going to be a lot less likely to get infected, because your immune system now has a lot of new cells, new beautiful cells that I'm going to get rid of that comment, that can actually fight off your infection. And this is the case for every single person on Earth. So if you can't do a proper water fast, you can try a fasting mimicking diet, because I know some of you might have really damaged metabolism. You feel really lousy when you're fasting. And so there is a way for you to do this and actually get a good effect from it. But if you're a healthy person, you can easily do a 3-day water fast. That's not going to be dangerous to pretty much anyone. If you're healthy, you can just start it right away. You can start now if you like. So I'm just to make it a little bit more easy for you, I have put these. So let's put this one up. So just a short recap. When you fast, your body is using up your glucose, first of all, and your glycogen stores. And then it will start burning fat. And then it will take the proteins that it needs. So I already talked about that, blood cells and anything else that is not really functioning. And then all of your cells in your body will kind of start self-cannibalizing a little bit. So what this actually means is that all cells contain things that they don't need. They might have um, an excess of certain types of enzymes or other things, organelles inside of them that they don't really need when the metabolism is is changed and when you don't have access to all of this extra energy and macronutrients and building material basically. So they will start using these for the most important functions in your body or in the cell, if we're talking about the cells. So what they're going to do, they are going to shrink. So they're going to get much smaller, but they're still going to be fully functional. And there's nothing dangerous about this. It's just that your tissues might shrink a little bit because they don't have excess of everything that you don't actually need. They think they need it and they will always have an extra supply of it, and now they used it. And then when you start refeeding, what's going to happen is that your activated stem cells will regenerate your immune system and your metabolism will basically be super accelerated. So everything you eat is pretty much going to be used for building up your glycogen again, fueling some fat into your fat stores. Your tissues are going to repair and they're going to replace these things that they just cannibalized. So if they broke down a lot of organelles inside that they didn't necessarily need, all of your cells are going to be really active and start building up again because that's how we work. So that was that. Let's get rid of that again. Close that window. So when you refeed, what's really, really important here that I want you to pay attention to, because I know that most of you guys, you're really good with this and you're really good at, you're here because you're interested in nutrition and eating well, etc. And that is great. But some people do fasting because they want to maintain a healthy weight and then they want to be able to eat crap in between. And they might look healthy. But the thing is that when you refeed, as I said, you're hyper metabolizing pretty much, and most of the things that you're putting in are going to be used to build up your body. So if you're putting in crap, you're putting in polyunsaturated oils and processed foods and all those kind of things with pesticides and whatever, a lot of that is going to end up somewhere in your body, and you don't necessarily want that. So if you are ever going to eat well, do that when you're breaking a fast, because that is going to have a much bigger impact than it has if you're having it 3 days after you're breaking a fast. So I don't know if there's time frame, how long, I can't tell you, but I would probably try and be really good with my food, at least for 2-3 meals after breaking my fast, just to make sure that whatever I'm putting in that is going to be my body is actually something that is of good quality. So you don't want to eat junk. So if you are one of those people that eat junk right after fasting, think again and maybe postpone your junk eating to some later time. Okay, so now I'm going to read all your comments. Doesn't seem to be too many. That's good, probably. Let's see what Richard has to say. So an interesting comment from Chris Masterjohn about avoiding supplementation of vitamin C as ACE2 enzyme used for SARS-CoV-2 to enter cells. I don't understand what you say. Maybe I'm stupid. Okay, I'll ignore that one for now and see if there's something else in the comments. Yeah, so this is interesting. So Thought K says one should not be taking supplemental vitamin C anyway, and Richard says, as carnivore, I agree, but. So this is kind of interesting because if you're a carnivore, you don't need it. You get enough of it. If you're a cheetahore, you might need some of it. if you are a carnivore, you probably need a lot of it, just because that's how our bodies work. So one of the reasons that fruit and vegetables that contain vitamin C might be because we need that to metabolize carbohydrates, and that works pretty well. Usually the things are coming together that we need together. So when we don't eat them, we don't need them. Monk mode's here, finally. You weren't here earlier. 3-day fast. Eat some kimchi and pickles. Fast for 3 more. Fasting mimicking. Yeah, kimchi and pickles. Ooh, do I have to eat that? Can I not just continue fasting? Gung Fu, Ola from Norway. Yes, thank you, Luke. Everyone, hit like, and if you're not subscribed, I think most of you are, then do so. At least those of you who are here live. So the human growth hormone boost from fasting spikes insulin growth factor 1 to induce protein sparing during a fast. There you go. And that's probably what I want to talk about in another video, but I want to talk about muscle sparing actually, because so many people think that when you are fasting for a long period of time, you're losing muscle, but that's maybe temporarily a slight bit if you are in a very long fast. But overall, when you start refeeding again, you're going to get a huge boost from that human growth hormone to actually rebuild the muscle tissue that you have lost, and then some on top of that. So it can actually be used the other way to help you grow muscle mass. Are the gyms closed down? No, they're not, and I'm probably going there this afternoon. What they have said though is that we are not having, we're not allowed to have gatherings of more than 100 people. And I got a message from the gym the other day saying that they are they are limiting the number of people that it will take for group training classes. And I thought that's kind of silly, because you probably have the same, let's say 100 people going to a group training, and whether 20 of those goes at the same time or 10, it's probably not very, probably doesn't matter, because they're all going to be in the same room, they're going to be touching the same equipment, and they're all going to get into contact with each other's bacteria some way very soon anyway. So I think that's a little bit silly, but that's me. And besides, I don't think corona is that dangerous. But hey, who am I to say such things? Monkmo, lost my new job at the hospital from corona. Not happy. Well, I thought, hospital staff would be kind of safe. I guess you would be fasting a lot more than monk mode if you can't eat. How will you do for $5? Give fasting advice. Good. Honest. Hi. Da, 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 da. There we go. I'm self-isolating during the fasting period. Very good. And then messed up at day 3, was planning for 7. Well, you say messed up, but I think, 3 days, it's pretty good. You're getting a lot of the benefits, but as I said, depending on what you actually want. And I believe that you know a lot about fasting. By the way, monk mode, I'm on Discord. You can find me. Get me into that channel, because I don't understand how to join with whatever number and letter combination that you gave me. I always strive to see people as little as possible. Yeah, that might be the introvert gene that we share. Okay. Apparently I am tanned as fuck. And it's actually we're getting into autumn here. I don't like it. I love sun. I'm still ghostly. It's in the 20s today. It was 60s 2 days ago. That sounds like it's cold. I don't know exactly how cold that is in Celsius. No, I heard him walk around for a bit, so he's like pretending that he's watching my stream, but he's doing other shit. Rude. Pim and I have spent a lot of time in the sun this summer, so yeah, we are brown ass. Yeah, but this is quite amazing with his arms, because if you have seen them, he's really hairy, and still they're like super brown. I don't know how he gets that much color. So I always thought that fasting might clear out cancerous cells to some extent, but I heard recently that cancer switches fuel or adapts. What do you think, Pim? Cancer cells, usually most types of cancers, I say, because they're not all the same. And to be honest, if you have cancer and you would be able to target that type of cancer cell, which is how they're working on more targeted therapies, you might still have other cancer cells with other characteristics as well. We don't just have one type of cancer cells, and they change as well. So that's why it's kind of quite hard. Cancer cells are very often, most of them have damaged mitochondria, so they have kind of damaged metabolism, and that's why we say that most of them are dependent on glucose. So the switch fuel and adapts cancer cells, as far as I know, are not very good at using ketones, etc. And there's some saying that ketones are actually toxic to cancer cells as well. So what I think is that a low carb diet will avoid fueling cancer cells so that they are growing quickly. It might not necessarily kill them because you will always have sugar in your blood. But what it does is that it doesn't provide excess of nutrients, for example. And fasting obviously has the same mechanism. So the lower your blood sugar is, the less nutrients or energy you will get to those cancer cells, so they will grow slower. And it might be even that they can't keep up with their own metabolism and they're going to be malfunctioning and etc. But what I think the important thing is that when we're regenerating our immune system, we will allow our own immune systems to actually target these cancer cells and kill them. Because in the end of the day, I have cancer cells, you probably have cancer cells. They are just there. Everyone has them, but our immune systems are keeping them under control. So a little baby might not have them, but most adult people have some cancer cells here and there, but they're not actually harmful because our immune systems can take care of them. But when our immune systems are not working fully, they are not going to be able to do that. So we need to help them in some way. And the way that we're doing it was that we're trying to kill the cancer, and then we give some chemotherapy, so we kill the cancer and the immune cells, and then we're fucked. So I think it would be a lot better if we just, try to take care of our immune system so that they could take care of what they need to do before we get that sick. Now, if you are already sick, now, don't take my word 100%, but I think I've come across some research that says that if you're fasting and then, I can't remember if it's before or during chemotherapy. I think you started before. I don't know if it's during. Then you get your chemotherapy, and when you stop, your immune system will regenerate still at a really high rate, and that will actually help. So if anyone's interested in that, have a look into that. I'm sure you can. If I have come across it, you can probably come across it as well. So there's plenty of research on fasting and cancer research and treatment. So I always think that is a good way of doing it. So I'm assuming that if you do a little fast before you have your chemo, you will activate your stem cells, then you have the chemo kill off all your immune cells and your cancer cells. Then you refeed after that, and your stem cells will just be like, boom, let's rebuild the immune system. Up we go, eat the cancer cells, and you're going to do much better than someone who's not fasting. Okay. Apparently, honest as fuck is white as fuck. Good. Good. And he can't even ask me now what it means, so he's probably gonna sit there and use Google Translate. Right, monk mode. Warning, it's a 4chan link server. Yeah. Scum and villainy. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, monk mode. I'm not super active on there anyway, but I just want to have a little nosy around, because that's cool. Oh wow. So he needs over an hour to do that. Rude. I love the way Pim smiles when she get compliments. Oh, thank you. Did you see Pim's reaction to that impression video? It was so funny. It would have been even funnier because I did see some of that on his live stream, and I was sitting on my own. I was kind of laughing my ass off. So the shock factor was unfortunately gone, but he was really, really good. Yay, regular faster. That's good. Liver and eggs are wonderful for breaking a fast. If you like liver, sure. I'm going to try to make some sort of dairy-free carnivore chicken liver pate today, and I have no idea where to start. But if you're not soaking liver in milk, what would you people soak it in? Lemon juice and water or something? I don't even know. So I'm gonna have to sort something out. Maybe some vinegar and water or something. I have no clue, because I've never made a nice pate ever, and I love liver pate, so it would be interesting. And I'm going to use some beef tallow that I had made myself. Liver, steak and eggs, kimchi, and sauerkraut. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. A cheaty war. Yes. I thought you were gone. Fucking stalker. I get my vitamin C in my face creams. Lol. I'm not sure you actually absorb much vitamin C through your skin, but that's all good. This is quite interesting. If you are guzzling milk carbs, you might need some vitamin C, but other than that, on carnivore, I don't think you need it. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you say that you think so. I don't know if that is the case, because obviously we have been drinking milk for many years, but that's not how we are kind of designed as adults. But we're still getting an amount of vitamin C in the meat, and if you eat liver, you get plenty. So I don't know. I think you have to make a judgment call, and if you want to eat a little bit of something for vitamin C, then sure. If you are going to supplement, maybe just not do the mega dosing, or even the gram doses, because that's a lot. Yeah, lift before you break a fast. Red meat, organs, and eggs. Best refeed. Yeah, I can imagine that going to the gym, the last thing you do before you're breaking a fast, and just getting that damage into your muscles so that you are really breaking them down, and then you have the boost from the growth hormone, and everything is just coming together, and that's probably going to do you a lot of good if you are wanting to build up your muscle mass and everything else, obviously, as well. I think that's probably a really, really good way of doing it. Yes, yes. Okay, so let me. How do I copy this? I'm gonna hide it again. I can't even copy it. So I'm just actually going to take a bloody picture of that. So excuse me while I'm doing that. Just because otherwise I need to go and find it in the video. -10 today, but sunny. Sunbathing is a little chilly. Where are you, monk mode? I think you've told me and I've forgotten. -10. It's cold. Yes, a normal immune system to everyone. That's the thing. I mean, a normal immune system would be able to handle things. So now I'm never really getting colds, and I never have really. When I moved from Sweden to the UK, for the first year, I had several colds going over there. And I guess they just had different strains, and then I was done with it and didn't get any more colds. Then I moved to New Zealand and I didn't get any colds, didn't get anything. And the only thing I got was my sinuses were getting more fucked up, but I don't know why. And I think the things that I get is like the stomach flu. I get the flu, so those kind of things, but colds never. So I don't know how my immune system works, but oh, it's Fahrenheit. Lol, I'm backwards user. Yeah, yeah. I can't do Fahrenheit. It's like with pounds and feet and all that sort of thing. It just confuses me. And I'm thinking, oh, I know a foot is roughly 30 centimeters, but not quite. I know a pound is 454 grams, but then I need to do all the calculations in my head. It's a mess. Or inches. That's even worse. Let's not talk about inches. And I don't know. I know that an ounce is 28 grams, but I don't know how much a fluid ounce is, for example. I have no clue how much that is. So you guys are just confusing the world. Let's use the SI units. What about meat and bone broths and the immune system? That's a really old folk medicine. There are things in bone broth, like you have some good amino acids, you will get the gelatin and the collagen, or the collagen proteins, the building blocks for those kind of things, and obviously you get a lot of minerals. I say a lot, but it's probably not, it's not a super dense supplement pill, but you will get a variety of minerals anyway. So there are things that you need there to actually build an immune system, but I wouldn't count on it as a pill to recover. But I do think it could be absolutely be part of a healthy diet that will help you maintain a good immune system. But unless someone else is saying something, I'll have a look. I don't really know about any specific thing in bone broth that would boost the immune system. My plans to go hiking next month looks like they aren't going to happen. If you read Reddit, it's nothing but SJW types shaming people into not hiking as all this year. SJW? I need to Google that. Social justice warriors. Oh yeah. I don't know if we have many of them here. Oh, well, they're all over the place, aren't they? Yeah. So I don't know. I understand that it's a new virus that we haven't been subjected to before, and people who are immunosuppressed, people who are old, those, and children, young children especially, are probably going to get it much easier than most people, and that we shouldn't be out and catching it ourselves because we can spread it to those people. But what about we just isolating, those people instead that are more likely to die from it? Because most people are not going to get anything worse than a cold. It is a cold virus. I don't really know what the big thing is. I know that it's spreading a lot because it's new, but it's not that deadly. It's slightly more deadly than the flu virus. And whenever the flu is coming every year, no one's panicking. They're just trying to push the bloody injections on you. And they've been doing that at work. They ask me once, and then they send an email and say, you might want to rethink this. You might want to still have it because they are older people in our society. And if you are walking around with it, even if you're not sick, then something might happen. You might give them this. And I don't even know how they were drawing the parallel to the coronavirus. Just because, if anything, with the amount of hand sanitizer and isolation that we are experiencing right now, less people are going to get sick from the flu as well. So why on earth would I? I have a woman at work. Apparently, her partner had been in contact with someone who is now being tested for the coronavirus. So they asked me to go around and spray all the door handles in the whole building with ethanol, wipe a desk with ethanol, and go and do that on Friday. So that's what I did at work on Friday. I turned into an ethanol cleaning lady because someone has been talking to someone who's been tested for corona, and they don't even know if it was positive or negative. I guess I might find out on Monday. If she's back at work, I guess it was negative. If not, she's in quarantine. So yeah, I just think we're making it a problem by acting this way. We're destroying the economy, we're destroying the businesses, we're destroying everything by isolating ourselves. And we're isolating people who, if you're looking at, there is research out there that old people who have had, I can't remember if it was cardiovascular disease, the people that are recovering and when they're old are people that have social networks. Those who are dying quickly after are those who are very isolated. So let's go and isolate all our old people so that they feel even more isolated and depressed and they can't do anything because they are locked up in their own houses and feel like they don't actually have anything to live for. What's happening here? My computer is fucking up. I hope you can still hear me. Yeah, okay. Then I'm not going to go on a rant on that. I'll just stop there. I just think it's madness. Okay. Yeah, good point. Glycine and gelatin in the bone broth might balance methionine from a diet high in muscle meat. Entirely possible. I don't know enough about that. Apparently, Paul Saladino does, so you might want to go and look there. So cancer cells also self-destruct, if I remember correctly. Well, cancer cells don't really want to self-destruct, but they can, I suppose. So can all cells. It's called apoptosis. What the problem with cancer cells is usually that the normal healthy pathway to apoptosis is disrupted. That is dysfunctional, and they can't really do that anymore. And that's why, and that's how it might even start, that they can't self-destruct when they're malfunctioning as they are meant to be doing, and then they just keep growing and they grow into a cancer cell. And if they then get another mutation that makes them grow very quickly and they don't have the ability to self-destruct anymore, it's just going to grow into large mass. Okay, beef liver pate is good with margarine. Okay, might be. Yeah, that was kind of my plan. Salt in vinegar with salt, because I didn't think I had any lemon juice. Then I would have to go to the shop. And I went shopping yesterday. I shopped 5 kilo of ribeye. And then I went to the supermarket to get some eggs, and the eggs were almost gone. But there were some toilet paper there, and I've heard that from a colleague that they had sold that earlier. I didn't get any toilet paper though, but I saw a few hoarders. I think the fat content of the milk is what modifies the flavor when soaking liver. Salt also blocks the bitter receptor on the tongue, as far as I know. Okay, that's interesting. Because we don't really drink milk. Good point. I would say that milk itself will be fine if raw because it has vitamin C as well. I'm not sure for all forms of dairy. Yeah. Use the cold bone broth, Jewish penicillin. Metric for the win, yes. Okay, so a fluid ounce is the same as in grams except in milliliters, so it's 28 milliliters. Okay, cool, thank you. I will remember that then. Yeah, so it's all chaos measurements. Yeah, I totally agree. It's just really weird. I'm slowly, very, very slowly learning. My best friend is a kidney transplant recipient, and his parents are diabetic. Diabetes and hypertension are strong comorbidities for COVID. Yeah, okay. Um, that's a very good point. So transplant patients are always immunocompromised because they have to live with immunosuppressant drugs to not reject the tissue. Um, so yeah, those people should definitely be, you know, quarantined when something like this is happening. But it's the same thing with the flu. They those people are more likely to die from the flu as well. I think I can turn the light off now because now it's actually light outside. Um, so those are the kind of people that we want to protect. If I don't think COVID-19 is going to die out. Now it's here, it's going to stay. So we're going to see very few cases. Most people are probably going to experience this and think they have a cold. So in 2 years' time, the virus is probably still going to be around. But you know, it's like with most things, it's just there, and we don't even think about it. We don't even. I mean, who goes to the doctor with any cold to identify what sort of virus we have been infected by? We don't. So you know, unfortunately, people who are on immunosuppressant drugs are always at risk of catching anything. So they always need to be careful, and that's unfortunately how it is. I feel sorry for it, but for those people, obviously, no amount of fasting is going to help because they're eating drugs to suppress the immune system. Yes, so you are trying to be careful and keep them safe, and I think you should. Uh, Monk Mode says, yeah, my dad is kidney transplant diabetic, 5-way bypass survivor. Holy shit. He's not taking it seriously either. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't, and they think, oh, I'll be fine. But, in the end of the day, we all think that we're a little bit superhuman until we catch it and then think, oh shit, how did it happen? Luke. Here we're having a productive discussion about immune system and disease prevention. Meanwhile, some people are denying the existence of viruses. Basic biology equals indoctrination. Okay. I mean, 2 years ago, I didn't even know there were people that thought that Earth was flat. I thought that was a myth that, you know, maybe some mentally ill people did. And I don't really know how you think that viruses aren't real either. Why wouldn't they be? I mean, we're getting sick, or is there just bacteria? What just things like why would we kind of deny the existence of such things? I don't really know. Maybe I'm just naive and um, hermity and not allowing myself to see what bullshit is out there. But uh, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Yes, of course I think so, and I agree with you because you agree with me. Yeah, it is. We're making it a much bigger problem than it would have to be. I had a flu jab once a few years ago, and I swear my immune system hasn't been the same since. I'm sorry to hear that. I can give you a little anecdote. When I was working in a lab back in the UK, and in the whole company there were maybe 12 people working, and there were 2 people that did not get the flu shot out of all people, and that was me and my lab manager. And everyone in the whole company, except for my lab manager, got the flu. So everyone who got the jab got the flu, and I got the flu because I always tend to get the flu when I'm around people who get the flu. And I don't think that the flu jab would have helped me. And I'm not prepared to take that risk with something that isn't effective. Right, my state is using it for a power grab. They have essentially thrown out the constitution. Awesome. Whoops, so here is a mention of a study I can't find. Can anyone help with that? What? What did I miss? Sorry, I'm not sure what you're looking for. Okay, looks like you got it. Math faster. Dr. Peter Attia said in a video not to fast more than 48 hours due to increased immune stress. This was his recommendation regarding fasting and COVID-19. Okay, so that's pretty much what I said. If you are going to fast right now, do it when you're isolated. Don't do it when you go out and see people that might have COVID-19, okay? Because you are going to be immunocompromised after 3 days. Probably to some degree after 2 days as well. So I'm not sure why he said no more than 48 hours. So do the fast when you can do it safely, when there is no, huge risk of getting a virus infection. Then when you have refed, you can go out and meet all these sick people if you want. Okay. I have eggs coming out of my eyeballs. All my birds are laying again. At any time, I have 20 plus dozen eggs. Holy shit. Yeah, you can send some over here. I like eggs. Got some good videos on the pathophysiology of COVID. I will link on Bart's Discord if anyone is interested. Okay, cool. Daniel Smith, kia ora. Right, Necrokit. The major reason people are social distancing is to flatten the curve so the hospitals don't get overrun and people die unnecessarily. But people are shaming others into isolation for 18 months. Yeah, so that is understandable, but the majority of people that would get it wouldn't need to be hospitalized because it's pretty much a cold that you're getting. So, yes, we might spread it, if you live with someone elderly or someone immunocompromised, yeah, go ahead, isolate yourself. But if you're not, and you're not coming into contact with those kind of people, I don't think there is a reason for why you should be isolating. But that's my opinion. Right. I was sunbathing every day to keep myself fully healthy, 30 minutes of peak sun hours. Then the apartment administration decided to close the pool areas and gym. I'm back at my birth city now. Oh, that's very sad. Like, I might have to move to Brazil. Sounds pretty nice, as in weather-wise and pool-wise. Meter, Bill Gates is on some BitChute videos from last year, and before talking about this virus scenario and it being better to let elders die in, I think he has a Logan's Run fantasy. Yeah, it sounds really awful. I think, let's give the elderly people the information that they need to strengthen their immune systems instead. I mean, yes, if we let nature do whatever nature is going to do, they're going to die off. But they're not necessarily going to do that if they have functioning immune systems. And the reason we are not is because we are eating like shit. Both the food that we put in and the way that we're eating, the timing of the food, etc. Going Fu, thank you so much for your kind donation. I really appreciate that. Are you able to drink raw eggs, Rocky style? Me, personally, I would probably puke because of the consistency. But this is quite funny because I like my meat blue. I like my eggs cooked very lightly. I can't eat hard-boiled eggs. I think they just dry and crumbly. I don't enjoy that at all. Somehow, if I was drinking it, it would just be too slimy for me. But if I have an undercooked egg and I'm just eating it, and even if the white is undercooked, so it's very slimy, I can still eat it with a spoon if I'm adding some salt on it, because I can have it in small doses. But drinking it, I probably couldn't really do that. But just keep in mind that the egg whites, when they're uncooked, they contain a lot of avidin, which will bind to biotin. So if you're doing the whole egg, I think it pretty much cancels itself out, but you're not obviously not going to get any benefit from the egg yolk. When you're cooking the egg white, the avidin is going to be deactivated. Probably not all of it, but most of it. So you're going to get much more nutrients out of the egg yolk. So I wouldn't recommend doing raw egg whites ever if you don't have to. Some people are throwing them away, but it feels like a waste. I don't like wasting food. I think, when we're eating any type of food, we want to eat the whole food. So we want to eat the whole egg. And there's good protein in there. You have some protein in the yolk as well, but you have good protein in the egg white, and why throw it away? Same thing. One of the big reasons I want to eat more organs is because I think we should be doing it. I think it's just more of a principle that I want to get back to eating the way that we're meant to be eating. Can you do a carnivore diet without eating organs? Sure, I'm sure you can. But I think it's probably healthier and better for you and everyone to actually eat those organs. But it's hard to find organs even. I don't even know what they're doing with the organs, because surely they must be doing something else than throwing them away. They might be throwing cow brains away or something because of the what's it called? Creutzfeldt, Jacobs, what are they called? Prions, that's what they call. That sort of thing. I don't know how I got into that, talking about eating everything. So no, I'm probably not able to drink raw egg whites or eggs. But I commend you if you can. It's just okay. I get the flu jab every year, don't get the flu either. Okay. Try not getting the flu jab, you might not get it. Daniel Smith, I'm personally doing my usual fasting routines of 48 and 72 and daily training. Okay, good. I think that's good. Liber egg whites are gross, soft yolks are awesome. Yes, absolutely. Soft yolks, I don't even know what they taste like, but they're very creamy and very nice. Okay. Okay. Good, Harry. Yes. That's what it's called in cows, not in humans. In humans, it's Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease. Yeah, I might have to show you a video of my score the other week. So, see when it says just bought some beef suet, going to try for first time ever. So, I did that and I put it in the air fryer. It is divine. I just cut it up in pieces. Now I'm kind of experimenting with not cooking it for too long because the fat is coming out really quickly and I want to eat that fat. But there is a limit to how raw I can eat it. So once I didn't cook it enough and I started to feel like, oh, I'm struggling to chew on this. And I think it has a lot to do with the consistency. I just hate chewing on raw fat. But I love when it gets that, when it feels like it's melting in your mouth, and you get that fairly quickly with the beef suit, I must say. So yes, enjoy that. It's pretty awesome actually. Yeah, so the prions, when you get the disease, that's just what the disease is called. That is prions. No good place to get grass-fed suet. So I can't help you there. I know that I got it from my butcher or from the one here. They're called Raywood Fresh. So for those in New Zealand, that's where you can go. Just ask them. They don't have it on the shelves. I asked them, and they said they had it in stock regularly, but I have never seen it on the shelves. And I got some beef heart as well. I've never seen that on the shelves either because I've been looking. So sometimes you just have to ask. Luke G. Exercise and immune system. Is resting more a better idea during these times? So it's the same thing as with fasting. When you're exercising, you are actually putting strain on your immune system, and you're gonna have to regenerate, etc. So if you are exercising every single day, your immune system is going to be compromised to some degree. Not as much as when you're fasting, but it will be. So if you are exercising twice a week, no problem. Just keep doing it. But it's the over exercising, when you're not letting yourself rest and build up again, that's when you're going to get a problem. So I wouldn't recommend that. I would still do exercise because in the end of the day, it's just like with fasting. When you're done with exercising, you're building everything up again and you get better at it and stronger. So you want to do it, but during that exercise, it's you're probably going to be more susceptible to catch something. So this is why, if the next time you have like Olympics and you hear anything about like, oh my God, someone got a cold in the Olympic camp, and everyone is panicking because all of the athletes, they're training so hard that their immune systems are really suppressed, and pretty much everyone there will catch anything as soon as they look at it. That's why there's such panic when there is a cold in the camp. So if I was going there, I might not be affected, but if I was going there and I was training really hard every day, as they most of the time do, I would probably catch it because my immune system wouldn't be up for it. Yes, crockpot for the tallow. Yep, that's a good way of doing it. I've actually been catching the fat that is coming out on my beef suit from my air fryer. And that's just a byproduct from me eating the beef suit. But if you're going to make beef tallow, you can do it in a crockpot. See Strong Sisters YouTube channel, carnivore channel, what to do with egg whites. They make carnivore taco shells with egg whites and leftover chicken from bone broth. Okay. That's interesting. So they just shred it up, I guess, mix it and bake it. I have no clue what that would taste like, but it's very interesting. Maybe should ask Sensible Blonde to try it out. I can't get liver at your local store. I have no idea what they are doing with them. I used to see it available on occasions. So I got some chicken liver yesterday. So when I lived in Greymouth, they did have lamb's liver, I think, at Countdown. They don't seem to have it here in Nelson when I've been looking. And the butchers have livers every now and then. But actually, yesterday I went to buy some storage units because we're sorting out the house a bit and need more storage. And I went by Pack and Save because it's next door. Don't usually go there. And they have a dog food section where they have brisket bones and other things, and they always have the liver there. So I got my liver from the dog section where they said dog food. So I don't know if that helps. Daniel, where do you live? Yeah, that's a pain. I found that was really hard down in Greymouth. I always ordered my meat from online and got it delivered because that was the best quality meat I could get there. Here, it's so much easier and so much cheaper as well. Yeah, what I heard from the butchers is that the organs they don't sell will get shredded into other meat products. So what meat products are they? Because are they dog meat products or human meat products? Because I've never eaten like sausage or something that actually tastes like kidneys, and Believe me, I'm not a kidney person. I find it very disgusting. So I don't know, but that would be really good if they did that, because the products would probably be healthier. I figured as much. I was using a metabolic stress protocol for hypertrophy, but I stopped it dead when the disease came here. Cool. Me too, because you were talking about liver. I'm now eating raw lamb's liver. The one thing I always eat raw. When I do this, my skin is 100% blemish free. Okay. My skin is 100% blemish free. I don't eat raw liver. You know what? I actually, when I got the beef suet, I took a little piece and I tried it raw, and I was like, well, no, I can't do it to you. But I think, for me, to chew on it raw is probably better than heated when it's just soft and squishy, because that doesn't sit well on my palate. You cannot cow share by law in Ontario. Frustration is an insufficient word for what I feel about that. That sounds really, really silly. I have no clue why they would do that. That sounds like the most unnecessary law that anyone has come up with, because who does that serve? Why? I don't get it. Good advice on not ever exercising. Can't remember who, but they said to dial back the HIIT a bit. So I don't think you should dial back the HIIT. I think what you should do with that is do it very quickly. So if you're doing a 20-minute Tabata session or whatever, I don't know what sort of high intensity interval training you're doing, but cut it down to 5-10 minutes, because you're still going to get a good effect from that, but you're not going to get the same stress on your body. Okay, East Coast, a little down Wairoa between Napier and Gisborne. Okay, yeah, I'm not very good at what's actually going on the North Island at all, but I mean, if you don't have butchers, maybe ask the supermarket if they have it. You're on the North Island. I think I was looking. God, I can't remember what they call. I was sitting and I was searching for hours for someone to sell me beef suet when I was down in Greymouth, and I found a butcher's. I'm wondering if they weren't somewhere on the East Coast, and they were delivering, but they were not delivering to the South Island. So you might be lucky up there and be able to find that. So just do a little bit of Googling, like order beef suet online or something like that, if that's what you want. If it's just liver, they might have it as well. But liver, the supermarket should be able to get you liver if you're asking for it. You might have to order it. I don't know. Okay. Welcome back, Honest. I'm going to pull a prank. It's too late. Okay. Glass of water, wine, beer. Whoa, missed it. You're welcome, Daniel. You say vodka, wine, beer. I thought that was water, but okay. I'll see what happens. So, me too. I used to get acne, but now never when I incorporate an ounce or two of raw liver most days. I think it is the vitamin A, which is basically what Roaccutane is, a vitamin A treatment. Okay, I haven't heard about that, but you might be correct. I have no clue about that, but I'm glad that you don't get any acne. Acne is also inflammatory, of course, but the reason for the inflammation could be that you don't have enough vitamin A. I don't really know. It's not kind of my area of expertise, I wouldn't say. So, okay, we are running out of questions. 1 hour, 20 minutes. It's because there's not too many of you here today. The number on the streams are very up and down. on a weekly basis. Last week, I think we had like 40 people. The week before that, we also had like 20. So it's very, it fluctuates a lot. So if you have any more questions, just get them in right now and we'll deal with them. Otherwise, I will, otherwise, I'll have to, you have to bring them up next week. Speaking of next week, yes, we will be here, but I'm just going to whisper it to you now. It is, let's see, next Sunday. No, it's not Sunday. Not next Sunday, but next Monday is Bart's birthday. So we're going away on Friday and Saturday, but we will be back on Sunday, both of us. Our Sunday, which is your Saturday, to do our live streams. Okay, we have some more questions like, where do babies come from? You know, when Mama Bear and Papa Bear meet, they come together and they make little babies. I'm not going to go into that. That's too rude. Matt Faster. Whole Foods had plenty of frozen liver and kidney, but not a lot after the other meats. Of the other meats. Still can't bring myself to eat either. No, I don't blame you, but they're good foods. Pim, why do I get hungry? I drink electrolytes while fasting. Well, you're meant to be hungry. That's a that's a physiological thing. You will have hormones that makes you hungry. So when your stomach is empty, you will feel hungry, but it will go up and down. So when it's actually real hunger for food because you're not getting enough food, now the sun disappeared, so I'll turn the light on again. It will come in waves, so you will feel really, really hungry. And I always get this. I feel like, oh my god, I don't know if I can keep fasting. And then it slowly goes away and actually gets better. And then after a while, I just feel like my stomach's empty, but I'm not hungry. I could eat, but I'm not that bothered. And then after another hour or two, I'll feel hungry again. So it just goes in cycles, but that's normal. You should be. Oh, you weren't notified. Well, I'm glad you found it anyway. And now the chat is going crazy. Yes, so heart is my favorite of the organs. Tastes like steak. Yeah, absolutely. We've been eating a lot of beef heart now. I made the best beef heart burgers. That 50% beef heart, 50% minced meat, and I made them really thick and they get really, really juicy. Just beef heart, mince, salt, and I put them in the air fryer, and they come out beautiful and they keep together really well. They're perfect. Not yet. You have to wait another 8 days, monk mode. It's not quite his birthday yet. Are you guys not listening? Right. Math faster. You can make them into small pieces and swallow them with water. Yeah, true. I might actually have to try that and freeze the liver and just cut them into little cubes. And I've been thinking about doing this for like probably 8 years. And I still haven't got round to do it because I'm just like a little bit grossed out by it. But that's silly. That's entirely psychological. But anyway, I would like to be able to just eat the organs rather than taking them as supplements because it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. Necro, how long should I isolate myself considering this is day 4 of being mildly sick? I'm probably not the best person to ask because I don't really, I haven't, I'm isolating myself from media as well, not just people. I don't want to engage in this. I haven't sought out the information, so I don't actually know how long you will have it for. I mean, a cold is usually a week, so I assume that is something like that. And after a week, you will probably not, if you have COVID-19, you will probably not pass it on to someone else. That's what I think, but don't take my word from that. For that, just have a little look and see if you can find it online or if someone here actually knows. With the corona nonsense, beef prices skyrocketed and they are already insane in Canada. Okay, that's crazy. You should have hoarded earlier. We still have really good, like the ribeye we got yesterday. They have every weekend the butchers have like a special deal, so which is a little bit of a pain because usually I'll go and shop during the week. But when they have things that I want, like ribeye or beef fillet or something like that, I have to go there anyway. Now, the previous 3 weeks, I always had some pork chops or pork shoulders or something I haven't been bothered about, but I had to go and get the ribeye. If you can't stomach organs, I recommend a Hungarian paprika recipe. Replace the chicken with your organ of choice. Okay. Interesting. I don't like paprika though. So now I'm gonna put that Hungarian paprika chicken in my browser so that I'll remember to look that up. The only brands that sell grass-fed beef over here in Brazil won't sell the organs. It's not profitable to them. I wanted the organs so badly, even though I'm not used to eating them. That's a little bit sad. So what the hell did you do with them? Have you asked them what they're doing with the organs? I mean, something must happen to them. Or are they selling them in bulk to somewhere else? Someone making supplements out of them? Something? Oh, Gung Fu, you're so nice today. Thank you so much. The swallow pieces without chewing, how does that affect the stomach? Stomach pain, nutritious absorption, etc. I don't think that is a problem. I mean, we're talking little pills, like pill-sized. I don't have any pills on my desk, but a normal paracetamol size. Depending on how many you take. If you take 3 of those, it's gonna be fuck all, isn't it? It's gonna be like a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half, maybe. So that's not gonna be a lot. So if you're worried, I would just start slow and take a couple of those. But I mean, how many of those can you eat before you get very cold as well? I don't know. Um, nutritious absorption, I think, is really good. Now, some people argue that raw foods absorb better. Some people say that it's worse. So cooked meat, if you're eating something like pulled pork, you have cooked it to death because you've been cooking it on a slow heat for a very long period of time. You've broken down the muscle fibers, and it's going to be very easy for you to digest because they're already broken down. Whereas if you have something like you're flash frying a steak, you're going to get a totally different on the surface. It's been subjected to high heat. It's probably going to be a little bit caramelized, that sort of thing. That's probably going to be harder to break down. So it depends on how you cook food as well when you compare it to raw food. I eat all my meat blue. I don't have any problems digesting anything, but my stomach's usually really good. If you're not used to eating raw meat, maybe it will take some getting used to because that's not what your system is used to. But whether I can't see that there will be a problem with absorption, to be honest. Thank you so much again for your super chat. I appreciate that. Let's see where we were. Yeah, beef heart burger. So when I bought the beef heart, by the way, it was for $5 per kilo for beef heart. That's really, really cheap. Anyway, they were so juicy. They're much, much juicier than just pure beef mince. So I really recommend that. So I asked for 8 kilos, but I think I got like 6, so they probably didn't have 8. And I asked for 5 kilos of beef soon, and I got 3.5. So I guess I got everything that they had. I asked them to grind up 2 kilos of that beef heart, and the rest was actually whole. So I've been eating beef heart steaks, I've been eating beef heart burgers, and the burgers are my favorite, but the steak is, as someone just said earlier, it is like a really nice steak. It's very dense, that's the difference, but it tastes just like steak. It doesn't have that organ taste at all. It's just denser, and obviously you have like the structure of the heart. So you have the bits and pieces that are holding everything together that can go through and be a bit chewy in certain parts, but you can just pull them out and you don't either can swallow them or whatever. I'm one of these people that like to chew everything very thoroughly, and I'm struggling to swallow it if I can't chew it. So I can't do chewy pieces. I find that a bit hard. Also a psychological thing entirely, because in reality I can just swallow it, can't I? So I cut when I eating beef heart steaks, I cut very, very thin slices so I can just get it in, chew it quickly, and just swallow it. And that way I'm kind of ensuring that none of that chewiness is going to be stuck there and be in the way. Okay, thank you so much. I will go and have a look at that. You get used to the texture of the liver, it digests beautifully, and you really can feel the benefit. Yes, mind over matter. Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine that that would be a problem. Absolutely not. Let's see. Talking about Dr. Berg here. Let's see. I can get you another paprika recipe without the paprika, but I have to ask my mom. She has the secret spice combination written down somewhere. Okay, yes, I would really love that. That would be super cool. I mean, you can tell I'm a little bit of a foodie. I love cooking, but nowadays when I eat mostly meat, I say I don't do a lot of cooking. I mean, I'm cooking everything, but most of my time in the kitchen is cutting up and cutting up the meat, putting some salt on, putting it into the air fryer, just leave it there for however long I'm leaving it, and then eat it. It's super simple and it saves a ton of time. Sometimes I miss cooking because I like cooking, but there's so many other things I can actually do with my life rather than just cook all the time. And you do get less dishes, so it's nice, but sometimes it's cool to cook something. So yeah, that would be super cool. If you want to send that to me, I would be really happy to try it. Having said I don't like paprika, I like smoked paprika powder. I like paprika powder, but I don't like paprika as in the vegetable paprika. It's just too much for me. Necro, I had to buy meat online this month. I'm living off if beef, bacon, pork brains, cold cuts, ground beef with organs, and the odd steak. That sounds really healthy. So Luke says the slaughterhouses themselves sell the organs as regular stuff, probably for animal food manufacturers and some supplement makers. Mm. Could you get it from the slaughterhouse? Might be worth asking. Maybe your mom won't be happy if you drag that home, but so honest as fuck puts beef hearts in the instant pot for 1.5 hours. Okay, might have to try that. Something that I haven't eaten a lot of heart in my life, but something I remember from when I was maybe 18, 19 years old. Me and my then boyfriend and a couple of friends, we were traveling up north in Sweden on a ski holiday. So up there, they were selling smoked reindeer hearts, like just a whole heart packaged, and they were smoked. And we bought that, and as I said, it's like a really dense meat, and it's beautiful, and it just tastes amazing. And I love smoked meat, but that is something that I will never forget, and that is something that my brain is really lighting up, and I'm getting this huge dopamine hit just thinking about how nice that was, because it was just like pure meat. It was almost like eating smoked beef jerky or something without the chewiness. It was just like dense and perfect. So I'm still working on getting my smoker here so I can make some smoked meat. You thought it had a weird flavor. That's very strange because I think it tastes just like beef. Right, that's a beef meat, that is. No, I don't have a pressure cooker. I have a slow cooker and I have an air fryer. Is my camera like totally off? It looks like I should be sitting like that. Anyway, we will have to live with it. Looks like the whole chair is. I shouldn't have said anything because now everyone's gonna look at that. Yeah, I'm surprised actually because I'm very sensitive and I'm very picky with my food, and I don't think it tastes like anything else than meat. It's more the texture that is very dense. So maybe, yeah, maybe that's why. I don't know. Any tips for better sleep when fasting? Sometimes my brain is a bit overactive when fasting. Okay, yes, so that is a problem. Absolutely. You will have increased cortisol, and the whole thing with fasting is that when you're fasting, your whole system is going to be revved up for you to go out and find food. So it will not. That's why you're getting more energy, because you will want to go and find that food so that you have the energy to do so. So this is actually a problem that is kind of quite common. I don't have too much of that myself, and when I'm having it, it's more like I can't sleep for very long and then start waking up very early rather than having problem falling asleep, which is strange because as a youngster I always had problems falling asleep. So better tips or better sleep tips for better sleep. I don't have anything concrete because this is all physiological and it will happen and it's going to be hard to deal with. You can try maybe do some GABA, which will kind of make you sleepy. Maybe I don't like recommending melatonin, but maybe that might help as well. But in the end of the day, what it's one of the big things probably the cortisol and the rush of the release of blood sugar and maybe some adrenaline, that sort of thing. And it doesn't really matter what you're doing if you have adrenaline, because that will keep you awake. So I would just do the normal sort of thing, trying to kind of wind down a couple of hours before you go to bed and not subject yourself to too much blue light, doing all the right things, and maybe then add some GABA on top or something like that and see if that helps. But I don't know if it actually will or not. I can never sleep while fasting. Wow. Okay. Maybe monk mode will have something good to say about that. The regular paprika's recipes, as far as I know, has no paprika peppers in it, at least usually. Okay. Only the ground red paprika spice. Think it can be a carnivore adventure, sour cream included. Okay. Yeah. Right. So, I don't really do dairy. Do you have a recipe without dairy? That's the problem. I do dairy sometimes, but every time I do, my sinuses get much worse. But yeah, I might have to try it anyway, because I mean, sour cream in food is really good. It's just that I don't do it anymore. Carnivore epiphany. Wow, sounds amazing. Never eaten reindeer meat. I haven't eaten reindeer meat, I think. Oh, yeah, of course I have. Now I'm lying. We have something called renskav. Sorry. Which is basically, it looks almost like kebab meat, so it's like shaved off, really thin flakes. And what we do with it, most people, I think, that we kind of fry that together with some onions and mushrooms and cream and just eat it like that, and maybe eat it with pasta or rice or something. That would be. And now the sun is out again, so I'm fading here. But that's also good. But that reindeer heart was just something extra. Kung Fu, I meant nutrition absorption and stomach pain when any food, not just raw, is swallowed, not chewed. Um, hang on. Do I understand this correctly? So you're wondering how, okay, so I think trying to find a new message from you. So I think what you're asking is that if we're not chewing, how that affects the absorption and stomach pain and etc. Okay, so let me know if that is not correct. I'll try to have a look down the chat. Now I got the sun a bit on my screen as well, so I can't really kind of see. Yes, chewing is one of the things that will start producing more hydrochloric acid in your stomach. That is correct. You can just do it. Just eat them with normal food if you're scared that you won't really digest them. You will always have an amount of hydrochloric acid in your stomach, so it's not like there's none before. It's just that you're going to get more where an anticipation of food coming your way, basically. So you can do that, but if it's just like a few pills of frozen liver, you can have enough. You're absolutely going to have enough. I can't see that would be a problem. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, write again, and I'll try to answer it better. Trying to look down here, and I don't see anything new from you, so hopefully that's that for now. I'm just going to pull this curtain slightly. Okay, camera angle's fine. Good. Problem, I'm actually trying to get in contact with some of the people that slaughter for the grass-fed company. Cool. Let us know how it goes. Slow cooker is good for stews, right? Yep. Paprikas is basically meat stew with spices, no veggies needed. Cut the meat, throw in your ingredients, wait, done. Yeah. That's I like that. What I don't like, it's funny because I like beef stews with like a tomato base or even with wine in them. Just don't like it. It's it tastes like skull dinner to me. It's not that awesome. Thank you, Luke. That's very nice of you. Dear Pim, have some of my Brazilian money. Lol. Thanks for sharing your time and wisdom with us. Hope you're not bothered by your starch-based mod. I'm not. I haven't even told you guys. I have one mod now, a moderator on my channel, and that is Luke, because he was very nice and volunteered to moderate my channel. So if any one of you are saying nasty things, he will be there and delete you, which is funny. Because I was saying that the other day. We were, I think Bart told you before that we were meeting up with a couple of people that are followers of his channel, and we were out for dinner with them on Wednesday again, which was quite funny because I was ordering steak with garlic butter, and the waitress said, "What size do you want?" "I don't want any size. Can I have double garlic butter instead?" And she just like, "Yeah, but you don't want anything else?" And she asked me 3 times before she was satisfied with my answer. So that was quite funny, just as a side. Anyway, so I don't even know. I can't remember where I was going with this. Yeah, I was talking to them, and I was saying, because Bart is obviously with how he is on camera on his channel and the abuse he's giving other people, is getting a lot of abuse himself. And I was saying that I have never had anyone saying anything nasty on my channel at all so far. I haven't had to delete a single comment. I haven't had to put anyone on the naughty list or anything. So everyone's really nice on here, and they thought that was a bit fascinating. So we shall see how long it takes. I've had one person strongly disagreeing with me on. I didn't even understand how this. Maybe I should find that comment again, but it was a very long explanation of how our metabolism works or doesn't work or whatever. Anyway, that's as close to abuse I've gotten. So I just thought that was funny and I wanted to share that. So Bart has a no corona talk in his stream's title. Guess he drinks other types of beer. Yeah, I think we're both kind of like, what the fuck's going on? What's wrong with people? Why has the world gone crazy? And none of us have had to talk a lot about it, but it seems like it's always creeping in everywhere. Wherever you are, someone is going to talk about it. So maybe it was just like, no, I can't be bothered with this. Can we please talk about something else? Zach, Pim, you're looking so healthy. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I feel pretty good most of the time. No, I have not tried kava kava. Should I? Here we go. Does it help? Let me know what you think. Cortisol and epinephrine rise during a fast. Maintaining adequate sodium intake can blunt it. For sleep, a magnesium supplement before bed or bone broth can help. Yeah, but the bone broth will kind of counteract the fast a little bit. So it depends on what kind of fast you want to do. Drink a glass of warm raw, if possible, milk that increases GABA. Yeah, again, you'll pretty much break your fast if you do that, but it's all the same things, unfortunately. Morning, Pim. Morning, Harry. I'm glad you're up by now. I will soon finishing, I think. No screens, blue, green, spectra before, during bed, install Flux, etc., etc. Yes, agree on all of that. What's the most unusual meat you have eaten? I've had crocodile, which was flipping delish. I told the waiter to make it snappy. Okay. I haven't really eaten that much unusual. I'm trying to think now. What have I eaten? I mean, I've grown up in Sweden and we didn't have a lot of strange things. So when I actually ate ostrich, I was like, whoa, this is cool. It tastes just almost like steak and it's really, really nice. It's almost like a fillet steak. At least what I had. I don't even know what cut of the ostrich that was. That was good. I don't know if rabbit counts. Feels like rabbit is kind of normal, but they don't really sell it. Wonder if I've been eating something. Don't know. I don't think I've eaten that much strange stuff. I would like to say like chocolate dip ants, but I haven't. That's something they. So my dad was from Ecuador, and I know that he told me that they had those for treats. Chocolate dipped, deep. I guess they were deep fried ants dipped in chocolate. I was like, oh, really? That sounds horrible. Anyway, I'm sure they're really crunchy and nice, actually. Now, when I'm a bit more mature and can think about it in a different way. Something I would like to see is Bart eating any kind of insects. That would be interesting. No, the chat has lost me there. Harry, that's naughty. That's way too late and you know it. Okay, so I wish I could handle milk. Even raw gives me huge reaction. I think it's the casein, as even lactase enzymes doesn't seem to help. But yeah. I would mod. Purge the unclean. Yes, go on, Luke. Yeah, Luke cracks the whip, so be careful. Necro, I've been helping carnivores on Discord locate their local livestock auction houses and explaining to them buying cows, sheep, self-butchering, and hiring a butcher. Necro, you're so good. That's really good. I think that's something we should do more of. Like just, whenever a single person has a resource and we can all go together and kind of share those resources so that people in nearby areas can actually take advantage of them. Because it's so hard to find out on internet. You won't necessarily notice something's falling down and say, know if it's birds or leaves. Lots of birds. Must be something interesting on my lawn. Okay. Yes, Necro, help him in Ontario. You know what? I'm just saying that I know that not many of you are in New Zealand, but God, I can't remember what it's called, but I think there is I can't remember what it's called. There's some sort of butcher here in Nelson actually that do home butchery, so they do go around to people to do butcher their animals and then cut them up and deliver them back to you, which is pretty cool. I think that's awesome. I didn't know that until very recently. Goat milk seems to be really helpful for immune function. Could the taurine content be helpful? I have no idea, Luke. Really? I don't know. Oh yeah, Nestra. Has anyone tried horse meat? I have. Yes. I didn't think about that. It's because it's not strange to me. So when I grew up in Sweden, we have something we call hamburgerkött, which is basically it's smoked and it's like sliced, thinly sliced, like a thinly sliced ham that you just put on your bread. Usually, that's how most people eat it in Sweden, and that's pretty much smoked horse meat, sliced smoked horse meat, and I love that. That shit is good. Nowadays, you can get the same thing under the same name. Most of the time, at most places, it's beef. And you won't see the difference because it's pretty much the same color, but it does not taste the same. And it's just, I don't know what it is, but it just has a different kind of subtle flavor of some kind. So if that is classified as strange, then I have eaten horse. I didn't even think about that because it felt like that was normal. That's funny. Mm. When Harry met Sally. Funny. Okay. Horse meat as salami, but not as steak. Okay. I think, I mean, when I was young, it was kind of normal that you would. Whoa, what's going on with my computer again? It was kind of normal that you would, with old horses. It wasn't like anyone had a horse farm, but, you know, old horses, what are we going to do with it? We're going to eat them. Why not? So it's not like we were selling horse steaks or anything because they were all tough meat, but when you slice it thin, it's not going to be a problem, is it? So we just took care of those resources, and I guess nowadays more people are picky with what they're eating, and they're just like, whoa, we can't eat horse. Holy shit. You could just hear the reactions when there was some horse meat in the beef mince. Whole world was upside down because people were unknowingly eating horse rather than cow. Um, okay, Italians make great salami from it. We bought the best salami ever. I'm gonna have some now after the stream just because I was talking about it. A couple of days ago, we went past this, upper middle class selling expensive stuff and bought some different liver pates and salami and some proper, actually, goat cheese halloumi, which seems to be hard to find here. I mean, halloumi is goat cheese, isn't it? But here, everything is made with cow milk, and I don't get it. So we bought those kind of things, and we had a lot of them 2 days ago. And that salami is just made in heaven. It's there's a lot of peppercorns in there, but I love that stuff. God, I love salami. Anyway, there you go. Swedish people too. Well, I don't know if the Swedes are making too much salami. They just smoke everything, which is great. Milk was in regards to GABA for fasting, just go on a long walk in the early evening. That worked for me. Okay, that's really good advice. Good, thank you, Harry. I've researched self-butchery a lot. I've yet to self-butcher anything bigger than 15 pounds, mostly fish and rabbits. I'm going to be buying live animals soon, just gotta buy under the freezer. Necro. I'm one of these squishy people. I would be like, oh no, I can't kill it. But if I had to, I probably would. I just don't want to. So that was the last question. So I'm going to say it again. Now, it's actually almost 10 o'clock here, so we are about to finish anyway. But if you do have any pressing questions, just get them in now. Otherwise, this was the perfect timing to actually stop. So I'm glad that we managed to actually keep the time this time. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate all of you. If you have any wishes for whatever you want us to talk about next week, just let me know. And I'm probably, if I know anything about the subject, I'm probably happy to talk about that. And here we go. Carnivore Epiphany. I have not tried kava myself, but a friend highly recommended it. He himself has experienced it. Apparently, Fanatu's currency are pigs. If you have many pigs, you are considered rich. Sacred pigs. Okay, so try kava. It might help. I don't know. I'm going to read up a little bit about it because I don't know enough about it to actually speak about it. So people have been panic buying freezers in the Hobart region. That's funny. People kind of panic buy everything. So I actually the other day I went to have a look at how many toilet rolls we have in the house, and we have 10 of them. And I was like, that's gonna last us for a couple of months. We don't have to worry. But yesterday I saw people with, these 20 packs of rolls, and they just had 2 or 3 of them in their cart. And I'm thinking, like, how much are you guys shitting? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's just ignorance on my part, because if I was butchering my own animals, I would make sure that they were treated well, and, as well as you can treat anything, and not butchered in an inhumane way. But when I'm buying meat, I just have to trust that everything was fine. But instead, it's just like a pack of meat, and it's easy for me to just take it and forget about what actually happened to the animal before that, and I can feel good about it. So it's probably a lot better to do it yourself. Thank you, Thomas. And Necrokitty, cheap fat offcuts from a butcher are great sources of cheap energy you can store in a deep fridge. Well, thank you, Harry. Thank you, Luke. Carnivore Epiphany. Okay. I'm gonna write that down. Okay. I got it there now. Okay. Drinking it in the right place at the right time can result in an almost spiritual experience. Cool. I'll have to drink a lot of it then. Just give it a go. I'm one of those people. I don't really do drugs. I did drugs. I'm a curious person, so I wanted to try a lot of different things when I was young, and I always tried everything kind of once. Not even using them as a recreational drugs, but it's like, oh, this is cool. I want to try it. I want to see what's happening. So I've always been curious and I like to self-experiment with different things. Mita, thanks for another great stream, Pim. You're welcome. I'm glad that you think it's good. I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying talking to you. But the most important thing is that I'm providing something that you actually enjoy and that you think is useful. So if you don't, it's better that you just let me know and say, hey, can you talk about this instead? Probably much better. I love you guys. There's many hearts here. Okay. So that's pretty much it then, and we're almost spot on. 1 more minute to go. So thank you so much for being here again, and I will see you again next week. And now jump over to the Nutrition Science Watchdog. Yay, more hearts. Luke, Gung Fu. Same here, never done drugs, but love to self-experiment. Great stream, thank you. And thank you, Carnivore Epiphany. What to you all, and I'll see you next week. Bye.